I would find in coaching, which has been really special to me. So I have my team name is Team Soul Strong. I'm sorry. I also have a little baby, and my husband's taking care of her right now, and he already came in once and is like looking for diapers. But anyway, so my team is Team Soul Strong, and about my team, most of my coaches are warm market, which is interesting because I feel like a lot of people have cold market coaches. So we hit diamond this year, which was super exciting. And of my 8 coaches, all of them are warm market except for one, and she's actually lives 30 minutes away. And so we met on Instagram through a cold market. But I loved Summit. Last year I went for the first time, and I brought one coach with me. Her name's Brittany, and she is still one of my coaches. And it was a really cool experience. So I didn't know what Summit was. I just decided to pay for it and go. And I was like, hey, my friend Brittany's with me. Sign up. Let's go. At the time, neither of us had kids. We were married, but we just kind of did what we wanted, and we were like, okay, we're going to go to Summit. Let's fly to Indianapolis. So we went, and it was a cool experience. But to be honest with you guys, last year whenever I went to Summit, I skipped out on a lot of the stuff. I did the workouts, and I skipped a lot of the trainings. But this year when I went, I realized how much I missed out doing that. So if you went to Summit this year and you skipped out on a lot of the training events, don't do that next year. And just because this year I really, really sat and I listened to what some of the top coaches had to say, and I took it all in, and I had ideas and I had notes, and it was just a really, really cool experience for me. I actually brought 4 of my coaches with me. 3 of who live in the same town with me. One of my coaches is one of my good friends. She actually just moved to Chicago. So we flew to Chicago and then drove to Indy. It was really fun. So I was in a different hall, which if you weren't at Summit, basically there was different areas of trainings. And so all of my coaches ended up being in one hall, and then I was by myself in another one. And that really put me out of my comfort zone. But it was a cool experience because it was, I don't even know what it was called, Leadership Hall, I don't know. But I got to hear from a lot of coaches that had really moved forward with their business that year, within the past year. And I was like, that can be me. That can be me next year. That can be me next month. And so it was really neat to sit and take notes and really, really dive in and learn a lot. Everyone in the room was either a diamond or a 1-star coach. And so we were all kind of on the same page with our businesses. We had grown a team, but we were still kind of at the beginning stages of what coaching really can be for us. And so I had 3 major takeaways from Summit, and I'm just going to share them with you guys quickly because I don't want to just keep talking, and I know I will. But my first huge takeaway was I recognized that Beachbody as a whole, the entire company, no matter who your upline is, I truly felt, and I don't mean to be cheesy by this at all, but I truly felt all of the coaches I was around, whether they were on my team or not, were a huge giant family. And I like I said, I don't mean that cheesy at all, but I just look back and I remember there was a moment whenever we were at the super workout on Saturday in downtown Indianapolis, and there was a girl who was kind of just trying to find her way, find somewhere to work out. Anyway, it's so early, so we get to talking, and she came to Summit by herself. She's not anywhere in our network or on our team, but we just kind of befriended her, me and my girls, because she was nervous. She was by herself, and we worked out. We connected on Instagram. We really got to know each other in that short amount of time that we were working out on Saturday. And I really did think how neat that was to experience meeting another coach not in our network and truly feeling like I had made a friend. And so that was a huge takeaway that I had, was that this entire company is solely focused on relationships. And I didn't necessarily realize that until this year at Summit. And that was really special to me and to my girls. I know a lot of other girls in different network marketing companies, and I just don't feel like there's necessarily the same community. And so that was really special for me. So that was my first big takeaway. My second one, which is probably a little different than what some of the girls who are going to talk about their takeaways, it might be a little different, but sitting in the trainings, at one point there was a panel of 2-star diamond coaches, maybe 5-star, just star diamond coaches on stage. And the speaker was asking them questions, and every single one of them answered the questions differently. Like the way that they ran their challenge groups was a little different. The way that they ran their team pages was a little different. The way that they did their team calls was a little bit different. And it's not that they ever disagreed. They were all on different teams, but it really made me think, like, I obviously look up to Cassie as my coach and all the things that she does, and I see all these other coaches doing their businesses a certain way. And of course, like I take that advice and stuff, but each one of us is going to have something a little different about us in our specific businesses, and that's okay. Like, that's good. Like, we want to be different because you're going to attract your tribe. And if I was exactly like my coach, or if I was exactly like someone else, then we're gonna, it's not gonna work. Like, we're just gonna run out of people. So the girls that I'm attracting are similar to me, but in the end, we're all gonna run our businesses a little bit differently. And that really stuck out to me. And like an example would be, one of the girls was talking about how she runs her challenge groups in the Challenge Tracker app. And the other girl that was on stage was talking about how she runs them through Facebook. Both of them run extremely effective challenge groups, but it's done a little bit differently. And that was encouraging to me, because so many times I feel like we can all play this comparison game of like, oh, she does it this way, that must be the right way, which is so wrong. Like, there isn't necessarily a wrong or a right way. As long as it's according to like what works for you and your team and you're successful, then keep doing that. So that was my really like my second big takeaway. And my girls and I talked about that, and we were kind of like, it's really neat that all of these coaches can be successful in their own way, which was cool. And then the last one, which is just kind of cheesy, but seriously, I told my girls over and over again, like, I love Carl. Does anyone else love him? Like, I feel like I stalk his Instagram, and I feel like I just want him to be my grandpa. And I don't mean that weirdly, but I just love him. And I just look at him as a CEO, and I'm like, I just don't feel like another like CEO of such a valuable company is as personable as him. Now, granted, I haven't met him in person, but I feel like we're buddies. And like the hilarious things that he does on stage, like the way that he talks to the coaches, the way that he has relationships with some of the top coaches, like he is a one-of-a-kind CEO that just makes me happy to work with Beachbody. I had a super hard time working for a CEO that I didn't like, which I've been in jobs before where I cannot stand my boss. And not that Carl's our boss, but like, it's just encouraging to see someone that I like so much be our CEO and run this company and run it so effectively. So those were like my three major takeaways from Summit this year. Like I said, I went last year, but this year was a total game changer for me. So those are my three takeaways. And I think we're going to answer questions after the other girls talk about their takeaways. So that's me.
So good. I'm so glad you ended with Carl, because I love him too. All right. Who's up next? I believe it's Adrian. So why don't you share your three takeaways from Summit with us?
All right. Great. Thanks. So I am a little bit different than Ellen in the fact that I have been coaching less than a year. My name is Adrienne. I am married and I have 5 boys. And I guess when I started doing Beachbody, it was more just because I was kind of like at a loss, like I was so negative about myself, my body, my mind, how I viewed myself, the world, and everyone else. And so I had a different coach other than Cassie, and now I've just kind of rolled under Cassie, but I love them both. And she just approached me and she's like, you already act like you're a coach. And she's like, you need to become a coach. I was like, well, maybe we'll try it and see. It's something that might work, something that maybe I can make happen. And so once I started doing I started with Lift 4, completed that, and then Shift Shop came out, completed that, did Lift 4 again, Transform 20, start to finish. And right from the get-go, I just started sharing my journey, being like showing my workouts and my fun stuff and showing my life with my boys, and they're crazy. And, my 4-year-old swears and says the F word all the time. So, and I don't know, that it's just crazy. He swears more than me. But so sharing the day-to-day life that, I'm a busy mom. I work full time at a middle school. I have a son who's a type 1 diabetic and, a 4-year-old who swears. So just sharing my life and being real and not trying to be someone else. But at the same time, kind of not knowing where I fit in this business, you know, and not knowing if I could do it or if it was just something, you know, once I started, I was like, well, I don't want to stop the workout. So I'm not going to stop coaching because I want to keep doing the workouts and drinking Shakeology and learning. So actually our 10-year anniversary was during Summit. So my husband, you know, I hit Emerald right away because I signed up my husband and my mother-in-law and my mom and my sister. And so we're like, okay, everybody, I'm not asking you, you guys have money, you're just going to do it. And trust me, it'll be fine. So I bought my husband a ticket too, and we kind of used it as, you know, we're gonna hang out and drink a lot, but then also go and learn. So he went to all of the like big group sessions with me, and then I went to like the, you know, smaller ones for Emeralds, you know, by myself, but with other team members. So it was kind of cool because he has encouraged me from the beginning. When I, you know, had months of not hitting Success Club and I'm like, I'm not good at this, it's not meant for me, he would be like, you are not quitting. Then all of this would be for nothing. All of the time and effort and money and everything else that you have put into it would be for nothing. So you can't quit. So I'm like, okay, well then you're going to Summit, and that is that. So my 3 takeaways from Summit are a little bit different than Ellen's, but I think that's the beauty of all of this, is that we're all different, that we all have different stories, we all have different lifestyles, we all have something to share. And so my number 1 takeaway was meeting my team. You know, we sit on these calls and, you know, we have one-on-one calls with our coaches and with our teams, and we're learning, and like I felt like we were all best friends. And then meeting them in person, there was like, I was nervous at first, like, oh my gosh, what if they don't like me? They like me on camera, but what if in real life it's different? So I was like nervous. And as soon as they were like, hey, you know, we saved you guys a seat, come sit down, I found them, I hugged them, and it was like we just, you know, hadn't seen each other in a couple of weeks, and it was a big family reunion. And so my encouragement, I have a dog too, so he's also a boy. So my encouragement was, I went, you know, just my husband, so kind of that's my team. And most of the other people on my team, you know, the coaches are just for the discount, but I'm encouraging them. And so now I feel like in talking about Summit, some of them are like, well, hey, maybe I do want to be a business builder with you. So I am excited that I can bring people next year and meet people from my cold market. And, you know, we can all meet in New Orleans and, you know, be a big family. And the thing about that really struck me was that, remember that the people on your team are excited to meet you. I was excited to meet my coach. I was excited to meet Cassie in real life, even though I felt like I knew her because I know her story and I know her baby. And even though he'd never seen him in real life, I was like, you love me. I know it. I know you do. And so just know that you're being an inspiration to them. And when they get to meet you in real life, it encouraged me just meeting my team in real life. So that was my number 1 takeaway, was that, you know, I got to meet them, and I can't wait till next year when I have business builders and they get to meet me. So then my number 2 was something I think that Rachel Hollis said, and she said, what got you here will not get you there. And so what do I need to do to level up? What am I not doing right now that I need to do? Like I got, you know, I am pushing, I'm close to diamond, but what I'm doing before is not going to get me to my next level. And so I need to just get my butt in gear and not be like, well, you know, that stuff worked. Times are changing all the time. Times are changing for me personally and the people watching me. And so, so many, I wrote this down too, I have my notes. So many hesitate because where they want to be and where they want to go seems so far away. And so instead of seeing your vision, like, okay, that's where I want to be, they don't want to take like the small action steps to get there. And it just seems too far away. And so just stay encouraged that it may seem far away and keep those big goals, but daily do action steps to get you there. So that was my number 2. And then my number 3 is what really is probably the most important to me, because, you know, like I said, I wanted to build my team so quickly. And then all of a sudden it was like this lull. And so I started getting like, I'm not getting a lot of likes on my pictures, and I'm not getting a lot of people interacting with my stories. And so just being so discouraged about that. And so I need to make my intention, instead of how many likes I can get on a picture, make my intention every single day when I wake up, I want to help one person. Who is the one person that I can help? Because someone reached out to me and changed my life. And they didn't just change my life, they changed my husband's life, my 5 boys' life, my sister's life, my mom, my mother-in-law. I sat with my mother and father-in-law yesterday for 3 hours just talking about Beachbody and Shakeology and what it can do for them. And so knowing that if I can help one person today, then that ripple effect is going to be huge, and they're going to go and help tons of people. And so to just get it out of my head that I need to have thousands of likes on a picture, but I need to focus on who is the one person. And so every morning I I do my gratitude journal, write down 10 things. I do my I am journal, and I have 6 things of things that I am going to be. And I write them like they are happening, like I am a legend. And I am sitting in my dream house that's on the lake. I write these things every single day. And then I also started saying, why am I here today? Meaning, like, before I hit the, record button on my story, why am I here? Who am I speaking to? And why will I be here in a year? Is it to make money? Yes, we want to make money. That is a goal. But I want to change lives, and I want to change the world. So those are my 3 takeaways.
So good. Oh my gosh, that last one, everyone was like, gold, 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 preach. Oh my gosh, like, so amazing. Like, if you just go back to the basics, right? Like, that's what really changes everything and keeps you stoked for this business. All right, so next up, Mackenzie, do you want to share your 3 takeaways?
All right. Hey, everyone. So I'm Mackenzie. I'm one of Carly's very new coaches. So I just started back in end of May. So super new. So I'm going to be a lot different than everyone that's already talked. So just a little bit about me. I graduated from college just a couple years ago, worked a corporate job for about 2 years, and it was not for me. So I went back to my serving job. So I'm there pretty much full time now. And I love what I do, but just ready, to have the flexibility, want to help people. So found coaching and have been just going for it ever since. But so when I signed up to become a coach, I decided Summit was going to be a non-negotiable for me, just because I knew if I wanted to go for it, I'm going to go all in. So I feel really blessed that I got to go within the first 2 months of being a coach, because I feel like it really changed my perspective. And I got to meet so many people, and it was just the perfect way to start this journey. So my first takeaway is that I think every coach should go to Summit. So this is our job. So obviously you wouldn't miss a business meeting. So think of it like that. I mean, I think everyone should go. It's a great opportunity. Second is just to take action. So I think we're so overloaded with information, and everything's so great, but it can be so overwhelming for really new people like me. Like being on this call, it's crazy. But you just gotta take action, do everything you can to push yourself forward. One thing that was really awesome, so when I first got to our home Thursday morning, I met Alexis, who I'd been talking with a little bit beforehand, and I told her the biggest thing for this weekend for me was to just talk on my story, because I was so nervous. She's like, okay, we'll do it right now. Like, take out your phone and we're gonna talk on your story. So I'm like, okay, I'll just go for it. And it was great. I mean, everyone pushed me to get out of my comfort zone. Like, I'm such an introvert, but it was really helped me. So that's awesome. And then lastly, one of my favorite things about Summit was Rachel Hollis's talk. It was amazing. And one of the things that stuck with me was her quote, "Comparison is the death of momentum." And I found that really struck me, because being a newer coach, you get dumped with so much information, and you're looking at everyone's Instagram like, hey, should I act this way or act this way? But none of that really matters. What matters is just being yourself, and that's how you're going to get your genuine followers and those people that want to do your business with you. So yeah, that's really all I have. So thank you.
I love it. Yeah, that's perfect, the beginning part. Sorry, go Cass.
Oh, no, you're good. That was really good. I was just going to say, I had a thought from kind of going back to what you said about not comparing yourself, but also what Adrian was saying. It's so easy to look at numbers and be like, oh, I only got 50 likes. But what I always think about is, I forget who told me this, but like, imagine that you had a room of 50 people and you were talking directly to them. Would you look at them and be like, oh, it's just 50 people, like, and complain and bitch because you don't have 1,000? And so whenever I see that and I get discouraged, I'm like, okay, that's literally 50 people or 100 people, however many people that I'm directly talking to, which is like a really big deal. And then like you said, Mackenzie, everybody's so different. I saw a mom who was an elite coach, hit elite, was like 10-star, and she had like 4 kids, and I think she was in her 50s. And it's like she was just as successful as the 20-something who has no kids. And, you know, so it's like there's so many different types of people that can crush this. Carly, did you have anything you want to add? I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no, I just like the part where it's like, this is a business meeting. This is our job. Like, guys, it's our job to, like, go for a weekend and hang out with all of our friends and do a massive workout where we shut down 9 blocks of streets, like, in a city. Like, that's our freaking job. Like, are you kidding? So it's like when you switch your mindset of, like, we get to do this as our job, yeah, it changes everything. Way to go, Mackenzie. You're rocking it.
And then, okay, so up next we have Megan Lusby. I see you, girl. You can go ahead and unmute yourself.
I'm going to try and go through these pretty quick because I know it's been a little while. But I'm Megan, one of the coaches on Carly's team. A little bit of my story is I am a full-time high school math teacher. When I started coaching, I was in my 2nd year teaching. And I was literally like the worst client at the beginning. So I was like, don't sign me up for these shakes. Carly reached out to me like 6 months. And I kept saying like, no, I'm trying this program. No, I'm trying it. Like I was the worst. Ended up signing up for the discounts like I think most of us did, and had a realization one day when I was driving to work, 2nd year teaching. I was coaching field hockey and lacrosse at my school, and this was like one of those spans of like 6-7 straight 5-day weeks where I was working like 15-hour days. And I had this like thought where I was like, is this it? Like, is this the next 50 years for me? Just the same thing over and over and over again. And that was kind of like the gut check where I was like, all right, I want more out of this life. So started coaching, I think a little over 2 years ago. And so I went to Summit last year by myself. And this year was just like a totally different experience because I had some of my own coaches there with me. And I also want to say real quick that like, I love that Carly and Cassie reached out to us to say, share your top takeaways. And like, we all have so many different takeaways, but I think that says a lot about how unique this business is and that you can be whoever you are and get what you want out of these things and be very successful with it anyways. And one of my first takeaways was like what Rachel Hollis said when she said, this business is hard, but you're choosing to be here. So you're choosing the hard now so you can have the freedom later. And what that sunk in for me as far as Summit goes is, to me, what makes this business hard isn't like the reach outs or the follow-ups or the workouts, like the simple things to do, but the simple things not to do. I think what makes this business hard sometimes is that 90% of the time you're grinding out your business physically by yourself. Those of you who like work in your business, whatever, like 1 hour, 6 hour, 5 hours, you're probably sitting by yourself in your office, wherever your office is, or going to a coffee shop, but sitting by yourself and so not everybody like in our day-to-day lives understands what we're doing. Especially when you're starting, especially as a new coach, the people that you're physically with don't always understand, like your family might not understand what you're doing, your significant other, they might support you, but not fully understand it. But these people, like being on this call with all of you guys right now, and then physically being together with people who get it, with people who don't judge you for waking up at 5 a.m. to do a workout, or who won't like mock you for, I don't know, having a beer because you want to have a beer with dinner because it's meal plan approved or whatever. I think people outside of this community expect these extremes, whatever it is, but recognizing that you have so many people in your corner that support you, that get you, and then being physically with them just was like the icing on the cake of everything. Being with people who get it, you don't have to explain yourself to, that you can say, look guys, like we're waking up at 5 a.m. to go work out, and they're like, okay, cool, let's do it. Like, I don't know how many other people initially without this business would want to do that with you. The second biggest thing for me is that the validation of what we're doing is real for your prospects. So can I see, like, I don't know, show of hands of who either enrolled a new coach to your team this week since Summit, or maybe like added a new client? like in this past week? Like how many of you guys like added somebody new to your team this week? Probably so many of you, because it shows people that what we do as coaches is real. This idea of virtually helping people is so foreign to people initially, but showing them like, look, like these are people who put their trust in me and now they're here with me and we're just helping other people, and it's like paying it forward and that effect. And it shows them that like this is legit. And so events, especially Summit, but all events, like go to your super weekends, your super Saturdays, meet up with people, even if you've never met them before, like go out of your comfort zone, connect with people in Team Root to Rise or in Team Fight to Finish or whatever, like reach out to somebody and be like, hey, like who's going to the DC Super Saturday next weekend? Meet up with them, show people that like we're real humans and we actually interact with people. And seeing strangers from like across the country come together over health and fitness creates just like this huge FOMO for people who aren't here too. And I mean that in the best way, because who doesn't want to live your healthiest life with your best friends? I think that's why we're all here. And then my third big takeaway was having my own team there with me gave me the permission to step into this leadership role that I had been like wanting to step into for the longest time. And it's like acting like the leader you want to be. And it's like you act and you act and you act. And then being like, oh my gosh, like these people took 6-7 hours out of their day to travel to like be on this crazy life journey with me. And that was just one of the biggest like heart swelling moments. And like, I'm this stranger they met on Instagram. I'm this stranger who reached out to them one day and then they transformed their own lives and are transforming their own lives and then showed up with Summit as well. And the fact that every single one of us is exactly as we are on social media. Nobody's putting up this front on social media. It's like whoever you see when you like connect with your friends, like that's exactly who they are. This team, these girls are as sweet and as genuine as like I could have ever imagined. And you know, everybody wants just the best for you, and there's no kindness, no drama. And it's just fueled with ambition and just love for people wanting to be better. And then I'm also having my first team retreat this fall. And so coming off of Summit, announcing that, it's just been like awesome for our team. I'm going to leave it at that. And I know we're going to questions later.
Yes. Okay. So we have 2 questions. We're going to go around and ask you guys. We're going to do like a lightning round. So answer like each question, I would say in 60 seconds or less. But I do want to say really quick before we do that. Number 1, you guys set a goal right now of how many people from your team you want at Summit next year and put it in the chat box. That's what I do every year when I get back from Summit. I'm like, okay, this is my goal for next year. So the first year of Summit, most people go alone. I don't know, Carly, I think you went alone too. My first year of Summit was like just me, brand new diamond. Like I didn't know anybody. I roomed with people I didn't know. So much fun. Second year of Summit, I think I had maybe, I don't know, 16 girls from my team there. And then this past year, and every single year, I'm like, okay, how many people do I want? Do I want 30, 40? And every single year, like that number goes up to where eventually it'll be like Jamie, where she has literally thousands of people from her team and she doesn't even, it's like, that's the compound effect. So set your goal. And also guys, shoot higher than you think. Like you could totally have, you know, maybe you're a brand new coach. It's not that far-fetched to be like, I want 20 girls there. Like that's not, guys, that is so freaking possible. You have no idea. Because if you're going to do this business, Summit's a non-negotiable, and you need to tell all of your coaches that. So when you sign up a new coach and you're talking to them about events, don't make Summit sound like an option, okay? If they want to build a business, it's not an option. I didn't even go to my first Summit, like when I signed up as a coach, because I wasn't doing shit. I don't know where I was in the world, but my first 8 months, I didn't do anything. Like literally nothing, you guys. I was horrible. So I didn't go to Summit. But as soon as I was decided to work the business, because we all have a start date and then like a start date, I didn't miss a Summit. So you have to go. I love seeing these numbers. So set that goal, you guys, put it on your vision board and really look at it and really think about it. And then also, second thing I want to say is who's going to Super Weekend this upcoming weekend? Yes, you have to go to Super Weekend because guys, this business can get hard. Life gets hard. Things get busy and you have to stay near the fire. You have to stay near the fire. And the coaches who don't go to events, they're the ones who quit because they don't make it a priority or they don't stay near the fire. And when shit gets hard, you got to lean in. Lean in, you guys. Lean into the team calls. Lean into your coaches. Lean into your team. Lean into live events. And, you know, every year at Summit is going to be like a different experience. And I'm going to stop talking after a second. But I do want to say last Summit I went and I had you know, a lot of my team there with me. But I would say 50% of those girls aren't coaches now, and they didn't quite feel like my people yet. And it takes time to find your tribe. So like half the people that were there with me last year it was like puzzle pieces that didn't fit, you know what I mean? But I didn't let that discourage me. I could have said, this isn't for me. This doesn't this isn't working. This isn't my tribe. But instead I said, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep finding, and I'm going to keep working until I find my tribe. And this year I went, and it was like, these are my fucking people. Like every single person that was there was like, this is my best friend. I can be myself. I could literally walk up and do anything. And she'd be like, I love you for who you are. Like, let's crush this business together. So it takes time to find your tribe. So don't get discouraged on this journey to building your business. If you're at Summit and you look around and you're like, oh, I really wanted that dream team. Like, it's all happening. It's all coming, but it takes time. So anyway, make sure you go to Super Weekend. And now we're going to ask you guys some questions. So we'll start first with Ellen, and we'll kind of just go around and ask each of you guys. So the first question is, how did Summit change the vision for your business? So before Summit, you had your vision. How has Summit changed your vision? Ellen, you can unmute yourself.
Okay. I think that Summit really just kind of opened up my eyes to how big this thing really can be. I think before Summit, I was super self-limiting, and it wasn't that I was doing that on purpose or that I was like, oh, I can't do it. But it was more like, oh, I'm going to add a new coach every month. I'm going to add a couple new challengers. I'm only going to hit SC6. And once I do that, then I'm done. And then once I went to Summit this year, and I told you guys, I went last year and it was just different. And this year, whenever I went, it just opened up my eyes to, cliche, but dream bigger and have bigger goals. And that's something Cassie and I have talked about a lot, is I'll say, oh, my goal is SC10. And she's like, that's great, but you need to do a goal that you don't think that you can actually reach, push so far ahead that's how you work your business to hit that goal that seems unreal. And so Summit for sure for me was just help me realize that how big my team really can go. And it's not just a me thing, it's a whole we thing as my team. And so I really feel as my team, I only had 4 girls there with me this year, that as a team, it just created this vision for us that we can really, really do a lot more than what we thought.
So good. Adrian, how did Summit change the vision for your business?
So it became something, instead of something that I hope I can do and I hope I can be successful, it became something that I need to be successful because my life was changed and I want other people's lives to be changed. So it was something that I need to do and something that I absolutely 1,000,000,000% can do. That, they kept talking about you people up there where I was sitting, I was you once, and I didn't feel that was oh, hey, little people up in the stands. It was I was there and now I'm here. You're there. Now you need to get your butt down here. And so I just felt so encouraged that, everyone started from nothing and then built massive things. And so it's not something that I hope I can do. It's something that I am going to do.
Amen. Plan for success. That's what Steve always told me. He's like, this is not a hoping business. It's not a wishing business. We are planning for success. And if you do the things I tell you to do, you will be successful. So shut up and be coachable. And I was like, okay. All right, Mackenzie, how did Summit change the vision for your business?
All right. So really just inspired me. I mean, seeing those 20,000 coaches there, one, how many lives that we can change. I mean, it's just incredible. And then going back to what Adrian said, I mean, how you were talking about sitting up in the back of the stands and now they're speaking on stage. It put everything into perspective. This is real. And if you work hard, you can get there and do whatever you want to do with your business.
So good. All right, Megan, wrapping it up. How did Summit change the vision for your business?
So for me, in short, it kind of amplified a timeline that I'd given myself. Being there with my teams, I remember sitting in one of the general sessions. I don't remember which one it was, but it was one of the evenings. And I had this holy shit moment where I could see me and my coaches who were there and a few coaches who couldn't make it. I was I could, in that session, visualize us all being there next year. And the next year and the next year, I could see them coming with their own teams. I could visualize us all walking across that stage together. It squashed any doubts I've been holding. It squashed any fears as a leader. And it was just oh my God, we're doing this. And that was this aha moment of just holy cow. It made me realize that we can do anything.
So good. Yeah, it gives you that permission, especially just when you're around so many freaking people. Like, again, like I said in the beginning of this call, it's like, this company is like amazing. You know, it's so crazy, like the funding that they have, and so crazy, like how much of, you know, their funding they just pour back into the coach network, guys. Like, we are the lifeline of Beachbody. Like, Beachbody would not survive without us as coaches. So we are their number one priority. And I always am just reminded of that as events unfold. Okay, last question. We'll do it around through the speakers again. This question is, how did Summit create trust in Beachbody and the company as a whole? Like, what made you be proud to be a coach when you were there? Ellen, you can start.
Kind of like what you said, Carly, is that like you just see everything that Beachbody pours into this one event, and this event is for the coaches. Like, this event is not for like other people. It's specifically for us and for our businesses to recognize us, to recognize our achievements. And for me, it was just really, really neat to see that, and to see that like we're working with a company that values us and that values what we do, and rewards that. And so that was something that was super cool for me, that made me really, really proud to like be a Beachbody coach for this company. And also just that, like Adrienne said, like I was up in the stands this year too, but like seeing other coaches sitting on the floor for Premier and Elite and just all of these goals that they had hit, I immediately thought, like, if those people can do it, I can do that. Like, I don't know those people, but if they can do it, then I can do it. And it just created this whole vision for me of like the opportunities that Beachbody gives us and allows us to do. And so it just made me really, really motivated and happy. And like I said, I love Carl, and I just really love him and working with him. So anyway, I just love it.
All right, Adrienne, you're up.
So I don't know about you guys, but I probably like 10 to 20 times like got choked up during, you know, people walking across the stage, or people sharing their story, or transformations, or like that was a big one. Just all these different things. I would sit there and like look at the other girls on my team and be like, oh my gosh, I'm like crying, and this is just incredible. And just those like heart moments made me feel so proud that, like Rachel Hollis said, like, we aren't just coaches, we are coaches, we are life changers. And what was it, Jade Simmons? We are transformation architects. I don't know about you, but I went and changed my thing to that I'm not just a coach, I am a transformation architect. So it made me like so emotional, but emotional to get fired up. And it reinforced the fact, like Ellen said, that anyone can do it if you work hard. Like, it's not going to be a business, but we are CEOs, we run a business. Everything is not going to just fall into our lap. Maybe once in a while someone may approach us, but for the most part, we are working hard at living and breathing this because we believe in it 1,000%. And so I liked, even though sometimes like the technical stuff gets a little mind numbing, but at the same time, the time and effort that is put into all of the products that we fuel our bodies with, that, you know, the science behind it and the medicalness, not a word, but I made it up. The medical stuff behind it is like legit, and something that I can approach someone and be like, I stand behind this. I use all of these things every single day, and we are healthy and we are happy and we are energetic. And so that just excited me, and it made me, you know, have more trust. And then the last thing, what made me proud to be a coach, seeing the transformations of unlikely people, like the older couple who, you know, like it just, I feel like so many times I write people off, you know, like, oh, I'm not going to approach them or talk to them, because like, who knows who is at their limit with how they are living, and they need someone like us to be like, you can do this. I don't care if you're 50 or 60 or whatever, you can change your life. And if you can't work out, then start fueling your body in a more healthy way. And so it just made me proud to be a part of this, because I can be a life changer no matter what I'm doing.
Thank you for sharing. All right, Mackenzie.
All right, so the biggest thing for me, pretty much the same, was I didn't realize how emotional I get being at Summit. I mean, it's just overwhelming, and seeing the transformations was just incredible, and knowing that I can have this impact on someone's life, and we're all doing it. And so that was the biggest thing for me. And just how much time and energy the whole Beachbody team puts into these events, and they just pour everything into us. So that's really awesome.
Love it. Yeah. Like every single presentation, every single speaker, it always came back to fitness. It always came back to transformations. It always came back to helping people. And like, even like the last night, like the closing ceremony, guys, like what you'll leave Summit with is like the Beachbody Challenge winners. So these are people who like literally change their lives with Beachbody programs, and they dedicate like over an hour to just like talking about these people's stories and how it's changed their life and how it's changed their family's lives. And it's not just like, I lost 50 pounds. Yay. It's like these testimonials. And like, that's why we're all talking about how like we're crying, because it's like you get invested in these people's stories and you realize like even what Adrienne said, like it doesn't just change your life, right? It changes your family's life, change your kids' life. It changes like the course of so many people's lives that you're around. That's just so cool. All right, Megan, bring us home.
Okay, gladly. So one of my, and it's kind of what you and Carly and Cassie have been saying all night, like realizing how much Beachbody pours back into us. The like Success Club parties reward us. Like I love, or not love, but I always come back to comparing like my job as a teacher. Like I just got a like little nice party for literally doing my job each month. And like as a teacher, it's like, that would be incredible. Like our Success Club trips, all these things that they pour back into us for literally doing our job and helping people, like is incredible. But then having these awesome speakers that are so motivating and inspiring, the amount of time and energy that like I can't even imagine they spent putting together quality trainings that cover such a broad range of topics to help us help more people help be better. Like you guys said, the Beachbody Challenge winners, recognizing the coaches, like recognition is something that I don't get in my full-time job ever. And I was actually talking with like some of my coworkers last week about it. And that this business is very inclusive to us. It is represented by female business owners, which I think we almost never see that. And then lastly, just like so proud of my team, like we're small but mighty, but growing with each other every single day, a culture focused on growth and failing forward. I know I was in just such a dark place when Carly reached out to me. And so feeling like so grateful that she did, knowing that if I can give my own coaches and team just like a little sliver of what she's given me, would just make my world. And recognizing that it's our job to do that, like literally our job to do that, has just been like, makes me so proud of what we do.
Great close. So glad you didn't stick with TIU. Or wait, was it BBG? Was it like Meg TIU or something?
Both, for like 8 months back and forth.
All right, so this has been a really long call. Thank you guys so much for sharing and pouring your hearts out. I love how we just had so many coaches from different walks of life, and I hope this just shows you guys that, again, like anybody can be successful in this business. Anybody can go to Summit and feel welcome. It's just so true. Like the community, the atmosphere, the friendships. People are inviting. This isn't a freaking sorority, and I've experienced that as well. Does anybody have any questions for any of the speakers? Something that they're like burning to ask, or I'll leave it open for a second, see if anybody has a question for any of the speakers. But you guys, like, I just feel like you guys nailed it on the head with everything. Yeah, I think it was super awesome to hear from you, Mackenzie, and your coach. So thank you for stepping up. I know it's kind of probably nerve-wracking, like, okay, just signed up 2 months ago. All right. Be there next year, you guys. We'll see you on the next team call. Love you all. And I'll get this recording up within the next 24 to 48 hours. All right. Bye.
Bye.